Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5, and we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite Loomians in all of Loomian Legacy. These are the Loomians that I enjoy using the most, and every time I use these Loomians in PvP, I always enjoy using them. So with that out of the way, let's head right on to my top 5 favorite Loomians list. So number 5 onto the list is actually going to be Mochi. Yes, Toda Mochi makes the list. The Clutch Plushie Sugar Rush Toda Mochi makes the list. And I'm really excited to talk about this one. And while other people knows about this set now, Toda Mochi continues to be a really fun Loomian to use. I mean, with Clutch Plushie and Return to Sender, you can pretty much knock out any range attackers. And if your Clutch Plushie gets used, you outspeed everything in the entire game. You outspeed most Boots users, you outspeed Gargoleme's speed, you outspeed Boots' Tatub. It's actually really good. And since this is a pre-evolved Loomian with over 100 range attack, it actually hits really hard. It doesn't hit as hard as Mocho, but it still hits really hard. Not to mention that it also has Brawler coverage and Deep Freeze to hit water type, so it can actually hit quite a lot of different Loomians in the meta, which is awesome. Toda Mochi continues to be a Loomian I add on my team consistently, and it always seems to do pretty well, even with other people knowing the set. You gotta play very smart with it because a lot of people know about Return to Sender now, but even then, Toda Mochi continues to be extremely fun to use. And that's why it makes number 5 on my top 5 favorite Loomians list. Let's head on to number 4. Number 4 onto the list is actually going to be Terraclaw. I absolutely love using Terraclaw. It has some amazing range defense, especially when combined with the Slick Shell ability, really good coverage, and a really high melee attack. This makes this tanky Loomian actually hit pretty hard. It doesn't hit the hardest, but if you can predict the opposing Loomians coming in, you can actually two-shot most Loomians in the game. It has really good coverage that can pretty much hit anything in the game, I think apart from Obsidian and Snagoop. But yeah, Terraclaw continues to be awesome, and it always seems to clutch up every time I use it. It's a very good Ticlipse counter, very good Metronet counter, very good Zulong counter, Protagon counter, and a ton more. This Loomian is simply fantastic, and even in non-favorable matchups, tends to clutch up. I had this thing beat Helvantix before, which is insane, and everyone knows how OP Helvantix is, and Terraclaw always seems to battle through them. Terraclaw is definitely one of my favorite Loomians. It's a Loomian I always consistently use on my team, and with Health Amulet, really makes it hard for it to get KO'd. It's definitely a very reliable range tank that I think people should use more. All the hate Terraclaw gets is absolutely ridiculous, because it doesn't have Rejuvenate. So, yeah. Terraclaw makes number 4 on the list. Number 3 onto the list is actually going to be Wobbles. The stereotypical tank. Rejuvenate, Rejuvenate, Rejuvenate. Well, guess what? Wobbles doesn't have Rejuvenate. And it's one of the best tanks in the game. With the Ignorant ability, with great defenses on both sides, with Barbs, with Driving Force, with Luster Loot to hit Spirit types, with Thunder Punch to hit Stratosaur, and with Deep Freeze to hit water types, this thing is fantastic. This is one of the best tanks in Loomian Legacy, and this is how tanks are supposed to be made. Not Loomians that spam Rejuvenate, but Loomians that can add utility onto your team. That's why I love Wobbles. It's actually a fun tank to use and a fun tank to go up against because it's really challenging to use. You can't just unga-bungally use Wobbles unlike other tanks like a certain Barblast, Phenolin, Pyrolin. Everyone just uses Rejuvenate, 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 and it gets rather annoying. With Wobbles, though, you gotta play really smart. You gotta either place down the Barbs, you either gotta Luster Loot for health, you either got to Driving Force the opposing Loomian. There's a lot of ways to use Wobbles, and it can be very effective in a lot of different battles. And Wobbles is just really fun to use, and that's why it makes the top 3. Number 2 on my list is actually going to be Deludrix. And I'm not just talking about any Deludrix set. I'm talking about the Scouting set, aka the Nimble Boots set with Shakedown. This Deludrix set is absolutely insane. It's probably one of the best leads in all of Loomian Legacy, because you can lead off with a Loomian that is extremely fast, detect the other Loomian's item, and then you can make a play. You can either pivot out, KO that Loomian, you can either swap out to a counter. There's a lot of options you can do just by checking out the opposing Loomian's item. Not to mention, you will pretty much know that Loomian set once you see the item. Like, for example, this is a Raidful Plushie Fish Karna, so I know this is an offensive Fish Karna, and I don't attack it. There's a lot of different ways to use Deludrix, and it's awesome. The fact that it has Zip Zap Pivot and amazing coverage also helps the matters as well. Makes this a very good late game cleaner, a very good tank, and a very good revenge killer as well. Deludrix is fantastic, and one of my favorite Loomians to use at the moment. It recently has been in pretty much all of my showcases, which is awesome. This thing is fun to use, it's a very good lead, and it gives a lot of info to the opposing player's team, and that's why it's number 2 on my list. Honorable mentions, and honorable mention number 1 is Himber. Himber might be considered one of the worst starters in Loomian Legacy, but guess what? I always use Himber, and I always love using Himber. With its really high bulk, especially on the melee side, and its really good offensive typing, it can actually hit a lot of different Loomians in the game. Not to mention it can actually use Icicle Traps and use Quick Punch, so it's a very good Loomian, and it definitely deserves to be an honorable mention on my list. Another honorable mention on my list is Nevermare, and I absolutely enjoy using Nevermare most of the time. I don't like the Razor Sharp ability on how it's RNG focused, but, it does add a little bit of randomness to every battle. It is very fun to use, and I always love using Nevermare. Has a very good defensive typing, has very good moves offensively, and it's just a very good Loomian. It definitely deserves to be an honorable mention. My favorite Loomian in the entire game is Gekko. I don't think there's any other option. I think Gekko is going to be the definite number 1 on my list. It's on my channel avatar. It also does a lot of fun stuff in PvP as well. Has solid range attack, solid speed, and with specialty boots, makes it actually a very dangerous pre-evolved Loomian. It even has Jolt for priority, it can tase the opposing Loomians, and it can set up with Energize and Rejuvenate. There's a lot you can do with Gekko, which makes it really good. Not to mention that it's really good at switching into Zulongs and Protagons really well, giving you a +1 ranged attack. It may not have the best offensive pressure, especially considering this is the pre-evolved version of El Iguana, and you know how much I don't like El Iguana. So, all those problems do happen with Gekko as well. But come on, El Iguana's ugly. Gekko is cute. Gekko is where all the love should be at. El Iguana is honestly given Gekko's a bad name. Gekko should have a way better evolved form, because El Iguana is a disgrace to the Gekko kind. So yeah, Gekko deserves to be number 1. Has some very fun ways to use in battles, very good boots user, very good jolt user, and very good for countering Zulongs. And that's why Gekko is my favorite Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy. And here it is, my favorite Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy. What are y'all top 5 favorite Loomians in all of Loomian Legacy? Tell me in the comments below. If there are some other Loomians that I missed from the list, tell me in the comments below as well, because, everyone's opinions are going to be really different. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!